Hi there, Kat Matlock here for Free Body, and I had a request to do a video about belly shame, belly tension, and back pain. And actually, such a good question. This is a really difficult issue that we have rampant in our culture. So today's video, we're going to discuss and then talk about how to remedy belly shame, belly tension, and low back pain in just a moment. Belly shame is a huge thing in our culture, right? And I have been subject to it all of my life. And I know a lot of women and men have been subject to belly shame, having a little bit of a pooch or a little bit of any shape in the belly. And it's such a problem for so many reasons. We're going to talk briefly about some of those issues that come up with this issue. But we see, we live in the world of Photoshop. We live in the world of impossible expectations of what our human bodies can look like, because everything's refined. It's photoshopped. There's filters on cameras. Even Zoom has a filter, right? So folks, we see images of human bodies that are really distorted and then that are upheld in social media as the perfection of the human form. And it's an impossible image to meet. So what ends up happening quite often in our lives, in our culture, is that people, especially women, I'm going to focus specifically on women for this video, especially women become shamed for having a belly, and that shame is internalized. It's a form of narcissistic gaslighting, frankly. We end up gaslighting ourselves, and narcissism is rampant in our culture. Gaslighting is rampant in our culture, and it's a way that we self-shame or gaslight ourselves and feed this like, oh yes, I'm trying to be confident, but meanwhile, I'm sucking in my stomach the whole time. And so in this way, we feed this real true way of shaming ourselves and keeping ourselves stuck. And so I'm going to explain to you how sucking in your stomach leads to greater stress and leads to back pain. So then we're going to use the ball to release our bellies and strengthen the back so that we can start shifting how this pattern negatively affects our bodies. So first of all, holding in our stomachs does two things. We internalize that shame. We draw in our bellies, and some of us may have gotten the message from our families, from our siblings, from our parents over the years that we're not enough, we're not good enough, that we're supposed to be this skinny little rail and not have any shapes and curves. And so we internalize that and draw in the stomach, right? So many times I've been in many circles of women, and looking at the pictures of the groups, there's this like, okay, we're all getting our picture taken out. Everyone's sucking your stomach. Clothing swaps, everyone's looking in the mirror and sucking in the stomach. This sucking in of the stomach, I had to mindfully let mine go, okay? This sucking in of the stomach sends a message to your brain that you're not safe. It sends a message to your brain that you're not safe, because when we are in fight, flight, or freeze, specifically fight or flight strongly, but fight, flight, or freeze, our breath comes up high in the body. That's stress breathing, right? When think of something that stresses you out, or when someone cuts you off in the car or something, the first thing you do is go, right? We bring that breath up high in the body. That is stress breathing. It increases our heart rate, sends our heart coherence way out of whack. It increases our pupils dilate, like all the things that happen when we are receiving cortisol into our systems. When we are relaxed and calm and feel safe, our bellies will naturally rise and fall with our breath. But if we're walking around sucking in our stomachs because of the shame that we're feeling about our bodies and about our bellies, then what ends up happening is we're constantly sending our nervous system into fight or flight. When we send our nervous system into fight or flight, one of the main muscles that begins to contract, the first muscle actually that begins to contract, is the psoas. And the psoas muscle has a grip around the spine from the front and sides. And the psoas is the number one cause of low back pain. So we feel shame, we suck in the stomach, we try to hide that little bit of belly that we might be carrying, whatever it is, trying to make ourselves look slimmer. We are sending a message to our brains that we're not safe. The brain then sends a message to your psoas to contract, to draw in more. It becomes like this negative feedback loop. Psoas draws in more. And psoas refers pain directly into the low back. So the first step in releasing this kind of pain is breathing and allowing your belly to relax. Of course it is, right? But then we also can build up tension in those belly muscles, specifically rectus abdominis and also in the obliques and transverse abdominis, because all of them contract together to draw the belly inwards. We lock our pelvises in a tuck when we suck in the stomach. And then that also overstretches the muscles of the back. Now they're hanging on for dear life and they're trying to get free. And they're going to be contracting, trying to pull you back into a more neutral spine. And they can't do it because you're constantly going back into this pattern. And then it involves other muscles. The hamstrings get short and pulled, gluteus maximus gets short and pulled, the erector bundles along the back get long, and they can also refer pain into the back, along the spine, in the low back, even across the top rim of the pelvis. So now we've got the stress breathing, activating the psoas, pulling on the low back. We've got tension building in the rectus abdominis, the other abdominal muscles. And we're reinforcing a sense of shame and a sense of lack and not loving ourselves in our brains. So none of that is helpful. All of it feeds more stress, more anxiety, more self-loathing, less love, and more pain in the back and in the low back. So now what we really want to do is see what we can do to begin backing off of that pattern, easing the tension in the belly to ease the tension in the back, easing the tension in the belly, breathing big in our bellies so that we can ease tension in our brains, so we can release that grip of the psoas. You could push a ball, push your fingers into your psoas over and over and over again. But if you continue to send your brain into stress mode by sucking in your belly, you're going to continue that cycle of stress breathing, pain, contraction in the psoas. So get yourself off the roller coaster of this. So now we're going to take our soft ball, the soft free body ball. We're going to go into our bellies. We're going to breathe first, really activate our belly breathing. We're going to release that tension. And then we're going to do just a little bit of strengthening of the back to kind of reset the system. And then your homework is to breathe in your belly as often as possible and notice throughout your day, when do you stop breathing? When are you not breathing at all? And then notice that your tendency might be to want to breathe up high. So I'm going to encourage you to constantly keep bringing the breath down low. Let the belly expand and open and move freely. That is going to do wonders for your levels of stress and anxiety. So let's get started in the practice. I'd like you to lie on your back with your knees bent and your feet on the floor, and separate your feet about hip distance apart. And let your body relax into the floor, bringing your attention into the back of your body and allowing the back of your body to sink into the floor. And then bring a hand or both hands to your belly and just say hello. If this is an area of your body where you feel intense shame, just begin getting reacquainted. Ultimately, fall in love with your belly, but that's a big leap if you're going from a place of a lot of shame around your belly. So just maybe saying hello, right? Holding a lot of shame and tension here will also create a lot of digestive dysfunctions, maybe menstrual issues. So we're just saying hello. And then see how much you can let your belly expand toward the sky or into your hand as you breathe. Notice if there's a tendency to want to take a deep breath up here. Right? Let's keep the chest heavy and the belly expands up to the sky. Belly breathing is our natural state. You'll see babies and children, they all breathe in their bellies unless they get upset and their breath goes up high. And as soon as they're not upset anymore, their breath comes right back down to the belly. As we get older, sometimes we get stuck with the breath up high and we forget that this is our natural breathing because we want to draw in and hide our bellies. And what helps this process of releasing and easing tension around the belly is just letting yourself know that you're safe right now. I'm safe. I'm just going to breathe and let my belly be free, even just for now. And over time, the bigger that you can allow your belly to get toward the sky, your diaphragm's actually internally massaging your psoas muscle, which further relaxes the nervous system. It's kind of petting yourself on the inside, like, oh, it's okay, baby. You can relax and be soft. And so the bigger that you can allow your belly to get, actually, the more deeply relaxed state your entire nervous system goes into. So you'll find, until you can really breathe deeply into your belly, that you're going to keep wanting to go habitually back into holding there. So giving yourself permission to fully relax. I am safe right here. Hello, belly. And then now we're going to take that soft air-filled ball. We're just going to go into the belly a little bit with it. And so rectus abdominis lives right in the front from the lowest ribs down to the pubic bone. So we're going to start just under the lowest ribs and then kind of rock a little side to side and ease some of that tension. This practice can take 1 minute. It could take 10 minutes. So play with it. Let it be playful inquiry. We're going to take that ball just right under the lowest ribs. And because it's a soft ball, you can actually go on to the ribs themselves. You wouldn't want to do that with a firm ball, but this is a nice soft ball. The free body ball has air in it. And so we're just giving some feedback into the system, breathing in the belly. And as you sink into here, let your energy and your attention expand outwards from this place. We tend to get locked into focusing on one place. Start to expand your awareness outward into your ribs. And letting your attention expand outwards into your shoulders, into your neck. Can you kind of loosen your neck a little bit? Notice if you're clenching your buttocks, Are you clutching? Can you relax and soften your buttocks? Then we move that ball down. Just rocking side to side. There are many different ways that you can do this. You could just lay down on that ball. You could stay lifted and just do a little soft, gentle rocking side to side. Notice, does one side feel a little tighter than the other? Maybe that hip sits a little higher. And just noticing, breathing in your belly. And we're going to pause the movement. Let your belly expand into the ball as you inhale. Soften as you exhale. And again, inhaling. And exhaling. We're going to bring that ball down even lower, all the way down just above the pubic bone. And it's sinking in. Maybe a little rock side to side. If the ball is a little too full of air, you could let some air out with the pump. If you need a little more air, you can put a little more in. You could find the right amount of tension for your body, of resistance for your body with that ball. Now, if you're having menstrual issues, you can be a little gentler here. Just take a couple breaths. And letting the belly get big and full of air. And exhale. We're going to move off the ball. We're going to come back to the back. Big belly breaths. Notice if it's a little easier now to breathe in the belly. See how big you can let your belly get. Then we're going to do just a little bit of back strengthening. We're going to put the ball down, roll back towards your belly, back onto your belly one more time. And then you're going to just bring your arms down by your sides, doing a little version of locust pose. So on your belly. Keeping your belly soft, begin to lift your chest and shoulders. And kind of squeeze the shoulder blades gently toward each other. Keep your belly soft. Begin to lift your legs and your feet. Maybe walk your ribs a little forward. And just lifting everything up from the floor. You'll notice as you breathe in your belly that your body will kind of rock. One more time. Lower yourself down. Maybe relax your head on your folded hands. Kind of wag your tail side to side. Now we're going to come back up to sit. So this practice is so important for our modern lives because we spend so much time hiding parts of ourselves that culture has told us to be ashamed of, and to really live freely, to really live in our love and really share our gifts with the world. It's important that we release that shame Shame never really helped anything. So we have to start with this, because this shame, belly shame, is one of the worst shames, because it keeps us stuck in fight or flight. It keeps us stuck in stress in our nervous systems, and it keeps us breathing in that stress mode and keeps us on an endless cycle. So I hope that this practice empowers you to let your belly be free, to find ways to give your belly loving attention, so that you can truly free your entire nervous system from a state of anxiety and stress. Again, I'm Kat Matlock here at Free Body, and you might want to go on to these next videos now to release the sides of the belly, to release the obliques, and then even to release the back. So we're making a playlist with this, and then so that you can work with the repercussions of long-held shame in your belly. There's some more things to do. This is the best beginning practice, and then you can go on and release more of the muscles through this playlist. Thanks for being here.